right. How are y'all doing? Having a good day? A good second day? Yeah? The party's just getting started. All right, so I want to just start this time off with a song that I wrote called Running. And this is a song that's just kind of about our restlessness that we have. You know, St. Augustine said, our hearts are restless until they rest in you. And that's what this song is about. It's about our search for God and about how we're just so hungry and we never really stop running until we find him. Catch me in my tracks, 'cause I've been running. Push me to take off my running shoes. Oh, the twists and turns keep on coming, but now I've got nothing left to lose. Oh, let me finally lie down. Oh, bring me to the place I fear. And when my restlessness comes creeping in the night, wait until the sun, don't let me run. Lead me beside still waters, though I've come to crave the rocky ways. Haven't been much afraid to falter, just terrified simply to remain. So let me finally lie down. Oh, bring me to the place I fear. And when my restlessness comes creeping in the night, wait until the sun, don't let me run. For I could run a million miles and be back from where I came. Oh, I'd remain unchanged. My heart would be the same, desperate for you, only for you. So stay with me a little longer. Your arms are the only home I have. It may feel as if my heart will beat out of my chest, but let it pound. Yeah, let it pound. Oh, let it pound until it rests. Thank you. Thank you. So we are, as Megan was saying, we are called to love. We are made for love because God has made us for himself. Like that song was, kind of displaying in light. St. Augustine says, our hearts are restless, O God, until we rest in you. Only in God alone are our hearts at rest. Our hearts are made for God, and our hearts are made for love. And God is love, which is really, really good news because we all hunger for love. And so many of us, we don't even realize that in that hunger for love, we're hungering for God. We're hungering for God. But I was touching on this just a little bit yesterday for those of you who were here yesterday and maybe heard me speak for just a little bit. So many times we're so afraid to say yes. We're so afraid to say yes to God. We're so afraid to say yes to God, and we don't even realize it. And yet, what the Lord wants more than anything of us is our trust. He wants our trust. He wants our yes. It's so simple. He wants what the Blessed Mother gave him 2,000 years ago, that same yes, that fiat that she gave to him. That's what he wants from us. He doesn't necessarily want us to be so perfect and have everything figured out and all of our plans, figured out. He doesn't want us to be, like God. He wants us to be his children. He just wants us to say yes with so much trust. As a little child, that's what St. Therese teaches us, that we're called to be little children and to grow smaller and to trust more and more and more and more and more in our Heavenly Father. And we're called to love. And do you believe that? Do you believe that God loves you? I think that so many of us, we have faith in God and we believe in his existence, but we have so much trouble trusting in his love. And, when we say yes to God, I remember I said yes to God when I was 13 at a really young, I thought it was a pretty young age. I said yes to God actually at an even younger age, but made a deeper commitment to my faith when I was 13. I made like a really, really concrete commitment to chastity and to live out my faith when I was 13 and I started high school. But I had this belief that if I said yes to God, that life was going to go my way, that everything was going to go my way and I was going to get everything that I wanted. And that's not the guarantee that we have in life. We don't have that guarantee. But what we do have, the really, really good news that we have with Jesus, is that he will work all things for our good. He will work everything for our good. If we continue to say yes to him, we continue to surrender him. That's the promise that we have. And there was a couple years ago that a lot of tragedy struck my life. There was a lot of hardship that my family went through. I lost a brother. I lost my father. And it was very, very difficult to trust in God. But what I saw was that God started to work everything for good. Even in the midst of tragedy, even in the midst of trial and hardship, God worked everything for good. Because Jesus is the God of the resurrection. He takes the crosses in our lives and he brings resurrections out of them because he is love. And he only knows how to love us and how to bless us. That's all he knows to do, is to bring goodness even out of tragedy. And one story that I want to tell you is that after my dad passed away, and this just goes to show you how good God is and how much he wants to give us the desires of our hearts. After my dad passed away, I really had a deep desire for a stepfather because my littlest brother was 9 when my dad died. And so that's still pretty young. And so I really, really wanted a really good husband for my mom and a really good stepdad for my littlest brother especially. And so I was in this habit of praying for my future husband every day. I'm still, single, and I had started praying for my future husband from like the time I was 12 or 13. So I just decided, every day I pray for my future husband. I'm just going to start praying for my future husband and my mom's future husband. And so a couple years went by, and one day my mom and I were walking, and I said, Mom, would you ever consider getting remarried? And she was like, no, I would never consider that. And I was like, oh, okay, I thought it was just like the end of the discussion. But she said, it's just, if I ever reconsider getting remarried, it's just that I have a really, really long list of qualifications that I have in a husband if I would ever consider marrying him. And I'm like, okay, like what are they? Like, do you want to just share? And she was like, well, first of all, he has to be a theologian and a philosopher and has to be able to converse with me about theology and philosophy because my mom's like a theologian. And she's like, and he has to go to daily mass and daily adoration. And he has to love wine and coffee and the beach. And he has to be a wonderful cook because I'm never cooking another meal again. And he has to be really, really fit and work out. And he has to never have been married or have had any children. And I was like, forget it. Like, we are never going to have a stepdad. Like, who's going to have all of those qualifications? But I just kept silence about it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep on praying. And every day at that particular time, I was going to this church, and thank you, and this adoration chapel. And every day I was seeing this same man in the adoration chapel. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I met this man in the adoration chapel because one day this guy, this stranger, he passed me a note in the adoration chapel, and I was like, well, that's kind of sweet, but that's like kind of creepy. I don't really know this guy. But I told my Mom, you need to come and meet this man. And basically, long story short, this guy, he became a really, really good friend of our family's. He started coming over. He started becoming like my mom's best friend. And his name was Mark. And he just became so close with us. And one day I noticed he was like standing over at our house over the kitchen counter, cooking my mom a meal, of course. And I noticed he had every single one of my mom's qualifications, every single solitary one. And after he left, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, Mark is the one. He has every single qualification on your list, every single one. And she was like, Kara, he can't be the one. I'm like, why, Mom? He has everything on your list. She's like, he's a half an inch shorter than I am. I'm like, well, it wasn't on your list, Mom. And it was just a really, really funny moment, but she was able to get over that, and they were married like 3 years ago. And it was just so beautiful because the Lord has brought this incredible stepfather into our lives who's just been this amazing, amazing blessing, and who was just like truly everything that my mom desired, and has been this incredible, incredible man, and such a blessing in our lives. And it's just such a concrete story to how God can keep bringing life out of even what is some, tragic situations, and how God can keep working all things for good in our lives. And so I just want to end with this song. And this is a song that I wrote to God the Father, and it's called Simply Father. Who are you? I have waited for so long to know your name, to discover all your signs, every shadow, every line upon your face. Speak your voice. Is it louder? Is it soft? Or do you see like a holler in the night, or a whisper through the trees that's calling me? Are you ruler? Are you king? Are you master? Are you friend? Have you really counted each and every hair upon my head? Magnificent Lord of Lords, all-knowing author, for me, could you just be simply Father? Are you here, as close as my breath, or far away, like the breeze I cannot see that brushes over me throughout my day? Do you see every heartbeat and every thought? Have you opened and spun my every inward part? Is that the kind of maker you are? Oh, ruler and a king, beginning and end, at evening, will you still count each hair upon my head? Hear this orphan's cry, let it rise to your altar. For me, could you just be? Oh, for me, won't you just be simply Father? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It's really been a joy to be here, and I want to thank Ascension Press for having me. And like Kevin said, I think they have information about us in the back, but if you ever want to keep in touch with me, my website's karaklein.com, KARAKLEIN.com, and I'm on all the social media, Facebook and Instagram, Twitter, all that, with just my name, Kara Klein Music. So thank you so much. God bless you all.